everybody to the Preacher and the Prodigy podcast. It is week 11 of picking college football games. It was a wild weekend. The Solid Verbal said it was Shrug Saturday. I rephrased that to Stunner Saturday. There were plenty of upsets, playoff implications. It was a great week to be a college football fan. LSU had a Tennessee-like win again against Alabama, where they went for 2 in overtime to win it. Gutsy call by Brian Kelly, and it paid out.
It was a week together. We went 7-3. You went 4-1. I went 3-2. Both of us continue to
make millions in Vegas
to push past the 55% number everyone strives for. So, and we could see it coming. I had a really strong feeling about the Clemson thing going to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That was the only one I felt pretty confident about. But yeah, we just really undersold the dogs, I think. And I suppose the weather had something to do with that. I think Tennessee's more built for a fast track, and Georgia can slog it out.
And I think that with every team, like even Joe Burrow's LSU 2019 historic offense team, they all have close games. Like every team is going to have if you go undefeated, you're going to have one nail-biter game. And I think the game against Missouri was Georgia's nail-biter. With Ohio State, it was Northwestern's. Against Northwestern, that was their nail-biter. With us, it was Maryland. So all of us, or I guess to say all of the good teams, have had at least one nail-biter game. And I think that kind of throws off the perspective of how good some of these teams are. And I think with what we saw at the Mizzou game and not having any good opponents, and until the Tennessee game, Georgia was underrated, and they just came out and proved that they're still the most physical team in the country.
Yeah, and I think that we have some surprises to talk about a little bit. TCU now up to number 4. Maybe a little surprise here given the college football playoff selection teams. The committee's rather traditional bias toward the SEC teams, that they did put TCU ahead of Tennessee was a little bit surprising. A lot of interesting things happening this week. The Big Ten West continues just to be, this slog around the 500 kind of level, and the Big Ten East continues to look very strong. Michigan State getting off the mat and really just marching into Champaign and putting a number on it. Illinois was impressive. So congrats to the Sparties for that one. Yeah, so here we go into week 11.
It's not a great weekend for football, to say the least. Had trouble finding games, but we did it.
It's a good weekend to be scouting your college basketball team of choice, because
Michigan State playing Gonzaga on an aircraft carrier, so you can watch that game tonight at 7. So we are heading for our first game, heading to Happy Valley yet again, where Maryland comes to town to play now the 14th ranked Penn State team. Penn State is favored by 10 points. Remember, Tua came back against Wisconsin. Talia, excuse me. He came back against Wisconsin and went 10 for 23 or something like that. He had a really sloppy game in his comeback, but again, that Wisconsin defense is very good, stopping, not letting you score. And he did not have a good outing. Now he'll have to go on another tough road game to Penn State.
I got to pick first. Because I'm ahead. We are. I think 10 points is way too few. Give me Penn State to win this game comfortably. I think Penn State has found something over the last couple of weeks. Even the way they started against Ohio State was impressive. I'm taking Penn State here to win pretty comfortably. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 20-point win, much less a 10.
I will agree with you. They're better on both sides of the ball.
Maryland teams fade in November. I mean, they fade in October, and they really fade in November.
Just different vibe around the Terrapins University when it heads to November, and I think that'll continue. I think Penn State dominates this game on both sides of the ball. Give me Penn State as well. All right, heading to Kinnick, where the unranked Wisconsin Badgers play the unranked Iowa Hawkeyes. This game is even, so this is
To pick them.
pick 'em game. This is the first kind of these that we had. So pick who you want to win is the way we're gonna play it. The over under on this game is 35. They expect this game to be around like a 18-17, 19-16 kind of a game, going either direction. I will pick Wisconsin this one. I know, not the popular pick, but I think that the way Iowa's been playing, I said the X factor is their O line. If they can get time for Spencer Petras, he can sling it. He's got a good arm, and he will find their tight ends and some receivers and march down the field and score. But I don't think that their O line will be able to hold up against that Wisconsin defensive front and Jim Leonard's front seven, and I think that Iowa will not be able to score enough points to win this game.
I'm just going to disagree with you. I'm going to take Hawkeyes at home. I think both teams do struggle a little bit offensively, but the Kinnick atmosphere, I think, in probably pretty chilly conditions will be enough. Now, so we're going to disagree on that, but let's talk about the over-under. We did initially see it as 31 like on Sunday at Via Circa, so it's moved up to 35. I think that's too high. Give me the under. I think Iowa wins this game 17-13.
Give me the under as well, but I think that Iowa fails to score double digits. I'll take Wisconsin to win this game 17-9. And then to it's going to be a barn burner totally.
It's the opposite of a barn burner.
And
it's a barn freezer.
Yeah, barn freezer. Heading out west, a top 25 matchup. The number 25 ranked Washington Huskies head to the very solid Oregon Ducks. They're ranked number 6 now. They are, after that abysmal loss to Georgia, they are beating teams convincingly, making their way outside chance to the college football playoff. They are favored by 11.5 at home. Your choice.
Yeah. Quack, quack. I'm going to take the Ducks here. I think that they're playing really, really well right now. Kenny Dillingham, Bo Nix on the same page. A lot of speed on the perimeter. I think just Autzen Stadium, when it's motivated, can be a very, very hostile environment in which to play. Washington, I think, is a solid team. I think their program is in very good hands with Kalen DeBoer, and I think that they will be, especially in a Pac-12 that is in the future devoid of USC and UCLA, will be a force to be reckoned with. Right now, I think that Oregon Ducks have more to play for, as well as they're trying via style points to make a case to get into the playoff. And Washington will be motivated, but I think that the Ducks pull away probably late in this one. I'll take Oregon and lay the points down.
I think as well, Oregon will cover this game by a good amount, 20-something points. They have looked solid in these kinds of games, big games where they kind of test trials to try and get to the college football playoff, and they've just succeeded in almost all of them besides the Georgia game. Bo Nix is playing like a Heisman caliber quarterback, and their defense is looking very good as well. I think that Michael Penix will have too much trouble in the backfield trying to get the ball off, so give me Oregon.
All right. Let's go down south. The reeling Crimson Tide of Alabama on the road. In Oxford, Mississippi to play the Rebs. The Fighting Lane Kiffins. Bama laying a dozen on the road.
Give me the Rebels in this one. Oh. There was a lot of talk, especially with the Tennessee week, where Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin mocked Alabama, saying, "Let's get 2 wins against the state of Alabama this week." They did. They beat Ole Miss, beat Auburn, Tennessee, beat Alabama, and I think Ole Miss knows that this is really going to be just an important game to really shut down the Saban empire that's been conquering teams in college football for quite a bit of time. And I think that Ole Miss will put up a really strong fight, but Alabama in the end will cover. They will
They'll cover?
No. They'll win. Excuse me.
Okay.
Ole Miss will cover, but Alabama will find a way to pull this out. Probably like a 36-33 game.
This is a tough one because I can see this going one of two ways, and we're kind of in uncharted territory as observers at a distance of Alabama. They haven't had two losses early in the year like they do this year very often. Even in your whole lifetime, Mr. Prodigy. There is something in me that just is really feeling Ole Miss here, but I'm gonna go against my intuition, and I'm gonna take Bama here. I think that there is going to be a fire in the belly for Alabama. I think that the line play of Alabama is going to kind of just swallow up Ole Miss in this one. I do think it's going to be the kind of game that people are going to turn on in the third quarter because it is just a 9 or a 10-point game. But I think Alabama is playing mad right now, and I think that the roster top to bottom really tilts Alabama's way. And if Bryce Young can quiet the crowd early on, I think Alabama will be able to pull away and win by more than 12 points. So I'm taking the Tide. I don't love it. I hate that I'm taking it. I want to just have some fun and rip it with Lane Kiffin, but I'm going to go Tide.
Final game of the week, Fox Big Noon heading down to Texas again. College Game Day heading down to Texas again, where they will be hosting the number 4 undefeated ranked TCU Horned Frogs. This is the highest they've been since the Big 12, their last Big 12 championship game, where they sort of stumbled against Oklahoma, and at the end of the regular season, Texas is favored by 7.5.
What is the over/under on this? I mean, what is the?
It's got to be in the 70s. You'd think that both teams, their defense is, on a college football D1 total level, it's okay, but I think it's going to be a double overtime kind of crazy Darrell K. Royal classic, like 48-47 kind of a game maybe.
All right. So I already know what you're going to pick.
Well, no, hang on. That's what it could be. With the way the Big 12 is playing, like if this was a ACC game, I think that's what it could be. But with the way Big 12 is, who knows? It's the Wild West. You have no idea how this game's going to turn out.
I agree. I think it's going to be a seesaw affair. And if you're watching other games and you see the crawler on the bottom of the TV, at one moment it's going to say TCU 24-21. The next minute it's going to say Texas 28-24. I am going to take TCU and those 7.5 points. I do think Texas wins the game. I think Texas ultimately prevails because they are playing in Austin. It to me feels like a 41-34 type game with a lot of points and a lot of back and forth. In the end, I'm going to take TCU because they're getting 7.5. Texas wins the game. Give me TCU to cover.
Yeah, a lot of yards in this game. I will agree with you. I think that 7.5 is a great number. If it were 6.5, I might take Texas. I think it could be a 41-34 game, or maybe like a 44-37 game in overtime where Texas scores a touchdown, and then Max Duggan throws a tipped pick. That just seems kind of the way it's going to end. It's a night game, so the crowd's definitely going to be into it. And I think that TCU, with the magic of the season so far, is going to fall short in Texas, Austin.
Yeah. So it's like Vegas has it like 34-28, in other words, something like that for Texas, or 35-28. So you copied me on all of the answers that I gave first, and I went against you on all the ones you went first. So that'll make for an interesting weekend ahead. Anything else you'll be looking at this weekend, just as a matter of interest? Any chance Indiana stays within 40 against Ohio State?
I was thinking we picked that line.
Just because it's Titanic number. LSU Arkansas could be an interesting game. Yeah. I guess I feel LSU in that one. They are laying 3 on the road, but I kind of like LSU's energy coming out of that Bama win. So we got a lot to talk about as we wrap up Week 11. Till we get to Week 12, I'm the preacher.
I'm the Prodigy. Peace.